You know, the reason some people just connect effortlessly, the reason their careers seem to take off, it isn't just competence. It's an invisible intelligence. And here's the good news, you can learn it. We're going to show you the 3 core emotional skills that will instantly boost your influence and make you more likable. What we're about to break down is really the hidden operating system behind every successful person who just seems to get other people. And trust me, it's not magic, it's a trainable skill set.
This really gets to the heart of a huge paradox about success. We spend, decades building our technical skills, our competence, our IQ, believing that being the smartest person in the room is the key. But that's only half the story, isn't it? Competence gets you in the door, sure, but it absolutely does not guarantee you'll lead the team or build the relationships that actually move the needle. The real engine of leadership, the real secret sauce, is emotional mastery. And that's exactly what we're going to map out for you.
Okay, let's make this crystal clear. Think of it like this. Your IQ, your raw intelligence, your technical skills, that's the engine in a race car. It's absolutely essential. It's the baseline just to get on the track. But your EQ, your emotional intelligence, that's the driver. The driver knows how to navigate the turns, when to accelerate, and how to connect with the pit crew. I mean, without a skilled driver, the most powerful engine in the world is totally useless. IQ is what you know, EQ is how you connect and apply it with other people. It is the true engine for acceleration.
So here's our roadmap for this masterclass. We'll start with this idea of invisible intelligence. Then we're going to diagnose the core problem, something called emotional hijacking. After that, we'll install the solution with the EQ core system and even peek under the hood at the neurochemistry that makes it all work. Then we get super practical with a 3-step action plan, and finally, we'll see why EQ is truly the ultimate multiplier for your success.
All right, let's jump right into the diagnosis. Why do we sometimes say things we instantly regret? You know what I'm talking about. Why do we get defensive in a meeting or just completely shut down during a tough conversation? Well, the reason is a neurological process. It's like an invisible wall that blocks your success, but it has a name, and just understanding it is the first step to tearing it down. We're talking about emotional hijacking.
So an emotional hijack is basically when your feelings take over the driver's seat of your brain. Just think about it. You get a critical email, your heart starts pounding, and bam! Suddenly your rational brain, the prefrontal cortex, it's just offline. Your primitive emotional brain takes over, and it triggers this flood of the stress hormone cortisol. Now, this doesn't just feel awful, it actively damages trust. When you're hijacked, people don't see you as stable or reliable. They see you as reactive.
And this whole chain reaction, it happens in milliseconds. It starts with some kind of external trigger, a comment, a deadline, you name it. This causes your brain's alarm system, the amygdala, to scream threat. And here's the thing, it can't tell the difference between a real danger and, say, a passive-aggressive email. Next, cortisol floods your system, getting you ready for fight or flight. And finally, your rational brain is completely bypassed. You're left operating on pure, raw, unproductive emotion. This is the exact cycle that we have to break.
So, if emotional hijacking is the problem, what's the solution? Well, now we're going to shift from diagnosis to treatment. And this isn't about suppressing emotions. That doesn't work. This is about regulating them with a structured 3-part framework. These are the 3 core skills you need for instant influence and control.
The entire system rests on these 3 pillars. And listen, they build on each other in a very specific order. You cannot skip a step. It all starts with self-awareness, the ability to look inward. Think of that as your diagnostic tool. Next up is empathy, the ability to look outward and understand other people. That's your perspective shift. And finally, relationship management, which is where you put the first 2 skills into real-world practice. That's the action skill. Let's break each one down.
First up, self-awareness. This is the non-negotiable foundation. You simply cannot manage an emotion that you don't even recognize. I mean, most people just feel bad or stressed, but people with high EQ, they can pinpoint it. They can say, you know what, I'm not just stressed, I'm feeling anxious because I feel unprepared for this presentation. This skill is all about labeling your internal state with precision. It's like running a diagnostic scan on your own mind. Without this data, any attempt to manage yourself is really just a shot in the dark. Okay, so once you can understand yourself, you can start to understand others. This is empathy. And it's not about agreeing with someone, it's about accurately recognizing their emotional state and then validating it. When you do this, when you say something like, "It sounds like you're incredibly frustrated," you flip what we call the spotlight switch. You turn the spotlight off of yourself and shine it right on them. This fulfills one of the deepest human needs we all have, the need to feel seen and understood. And when people feel understood by you, their defenses just drop.
and real connection becomes possible. And all that brings us to the third pillar, relationship management. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's where your internal self-awareness and your external empathy get converted into influential action. How do you handle conflict? How do you give tough feedback? How do you inspire your team? All of these actions are governed by your ability to manage your own emotions while navigating the emotions of others. This is where you use all that data to build trust, de-escalate tension, and guide interactions toward a positive outcome.
So we've got the system, awareness, empathy, and management. But why does it work so well? Well, its effectiveness isn't just based on some soft, fuzzy skills. It's rooted in the hard science of our own brain chemistry. This framework literally rewires your brain for connection.
At the core of all this is the relationship between two parts of your brain. You've got your amygdala, which is like this primitive alarm system. It's fast, it's impulsive, and it's responsible for that whole fight or flight thing. Then you've got your prefrontal cortex, or PFC. That's your executive center. It's the rational, thinking part of your brain that regulates emotions. Training your EQ is like sending your PFC to the gym. You are physically strengthening its ability to override the amygdala's knee-jerk reactions. You shift from being someone who reacts to someone who thoughtfully responds.
So let's break down the neurological benefits here. First, strengthening your PFC means you get hijacked less. This keeps your cortisol low, which makes you project this calm stability that makes you seem incredibly reliable. Second, using empathy to validate someone actually releases oxytocin, the social bonding hormone. This creates this powerful feeling of trust and safety. And third, this calm presence enhances your credibility and what social scientists call status calibration, basically your ability to command respect naturally without forcing it.
This brings us to probably the most powerful mechanism of all, the likability loop. Let's just trace it for a second. You use empathy to make someone feel understood. Their brain gives them a little shot of oxytocin as a reward. That neurochemical reward makes them feel good. Their brain then creates an association. You equal good feelings. This creates this amazing positive feedback loop that just rapidly accelerates rapport and trust. You are literally engineering likability by aligning your behavior with the brain's own social bonding system. It's a huge advantage.
Okay, so we get the problem, we get the system, and we get the science. Now for the most important part, implementation. Knowledge is useless without action, right? So let's switch into a pragmatic, high-value coaching mode. This is your exact 3-step, non-negotiable protocol for building your EQ, starting right now.
These are your 3 daily drills. First, the Daily Emotional Audit. 3 times a day, just take 3 minutes and ask yourself, what specific emotion am I feeling and what caused it? This is how you build self-awareness. Second, the Labeling and Validation Drill. In your very next important conversation, use tactical empathy. Before you make your point, just label their emotion. It seems like you're concerned about the timeline. Just watch what happens. And third, the 5-second response pause. Now this third drill, the 5-second response pause, it might be the single most powerful tool in this entire explainer. When you feel that flash of anger or frustration, and you must implement a mandatory 5-second pause before you speak or type. 5 seconds. That's it. That is all the time it takes for the signal to travel from your emotional amygdala to your rational prefrontal cortex. It is the circuit breaker between impulse and intelligence. This one habit can prevent countless emotional hijacks and save relationships. Do not underestimate its power.
Okay, let's bring this all home. We've gone from the problem of emotional sabotage to a system for success. It's really time to reframe how we think about intelligence itself. We've all been taught to value one kind of intelligence above all others, but that is a dangerously incomplete picture of the world.
Here is the ultimate takeaway. Your emotional intelligence doesn't just add to your technical intelligence, it multiplies it. You can be the most brilliant strategist in the world, but if you can't communicate your ideas or connect with your team, that brilliance has a ceiling. EQ is the catalyst that unlocks the full potential of everything else you know. It's what turns solo genius into true leadership. So are you ready to master the system for your success? Just remember, emotional intelligence solves the core problem of emotional reactivity and relationship friction. And why this matters is that it gives you a systematic way to gain instant likability and influence. The framework of self-awareness and empathy enhances your emotional stability, and it activates the brain's social bonding chemicals, making you way more effective and trusted. And always remember this, productivity isn't about doing more, it's about mastering systems that make focus effortless. Go ahead and start with your first emotional audit today.